working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Good evening, I'm Alma Angeles, and you're watching ASEAN in Focus on tonight's headlines. The Mayon Volcano located in Albay is currently on alert level 3 due to heightened unrest caused by intense volcanic activity. Just last night, the volcano experienced a significant lava flow extending approximately 500 meters from its summit crater through the Bonga and Misi gullies. In response to rising tensions over China's assertiveness in the South China Sea, Southeast Asian nations have reached a historic agreement to conduct their first ever joint military drills in the region. Indonesian officials have confirmed that these joint military exercises will take place in the North Natuna Sea.
The Philippine Embassy in Russia.
And news on the historic day of June 12, Filipinos around the world have celebrated the 125th Independence Day of the Philippines with fervor and patriotism. We'll take a closer look at the grand celebrations happening in Los Angeles, Moscow, and Papua New Guinea. The Mayon Volcano located in Albay is currently on alert level 3 due to heightened unrest caused by intense volcanic activity. Just last night, the volcano experienced a significant lava flow extending approximately 500 meters from its summit crater through the Bonga and Misi gullies. According to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, in the last 24 hours alone, there have been 21 volcanic earthquakes, 260 rockfall events, and 3 instances of pyroclastic density currents recorded at the Mayon Volcano. Thousands of residents residing near a volcanic site in the Philippines have been forced to seek refuge in evacuation centers. And this comes as officials issued a warning on Sunday, cautioning the public about potential health hazards arising from the emission of ash and toxic gases. Take a look.
Mahirap kasi pag nawala ka sa sariling tahanan kasi yung mga alaga namin na baboy nandun sa taas, hindi namin na sikasin mabuti. Paano na yung pangangailangan namin sa araw-araw?
Hindi kasi din kami kasi inaabot. Yung puso, kayo. Kung malanghap mo yun, di ba? Delikado.
Now, Mayon Volcano, situated approximately 330 kilometers southeast of the capital Manila, has long been regarded as one of the most unpredictable among the Philippines' 24 active volcanoes. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology reported that a disintegrating lava dome is causing rocks to fall from the crater. The molten materials beneath the Earth's surface is forcefully pushing this dome out, resulting in a dangerous shower of rocks. Now, these projectiles have been observed falling as far as 2 kilometers away from the volcano's epicenter. The Albay government has issued a critical announcement regarding the safety of residents within the extended danger zone. All populations residing within the 7-kilometer zone are now placed under a state of preparedness. Now, this crucial decision signifies that an evacuation can be executed at any given moment, and authorities are urging residents to be prepared, gather essential items as they head to designated evacuation centers.
Ang Provincial Engineering Office, handa po sila, nagpadala na po ng mga sasakyan just in case na talagang kailangan ng i-transport yung mga tao. Yung PHO natin handa rin po with medical supplies.
In light of these developments, the City Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Offices and Barangay Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Councils have been instructed to remain on high alert. In tonight's other news, the portal for tourists traveling to Canada without visas has experienced a major crash just days after the Philippines was granted visa-free privileges. The online service for Canada's Electronic Travel Authorization, or ETA, encountered intermittent connectivity issues, according to the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC, on June 9. However, the problem persisted the following day, June 10, prompting the IRCC to address the service degradation as a top priority. Now, this portal collapse occurred shortly after the IRCC expanded the list of countries eligible for visa-free entry via air, including the Philippines, among the 13 newly included nations. Under the ETA program, Philippine passport holders who possess valid visas issued by the Canadian Embassy within the last 10 years or hold valid non-immigrant visas for the U.S. are eligible to apply. The Canadian public broadcaster CBC quoted an IRCC spokesperson acknowledging that the highest surge in ETA applications came from the Philippines. Unfortunately, the website crash resulted in some travelers missing their flights, causing significant travel disruptions and financial stress. In an update, the IRCC announced on Sunday that the online services for ETA applications have been restored, bringing relief to affected travelers. Meanwhile, the Canadian Embassy in Manila has yet to confirm the CBC report regarding the deluge of ETA applications from the Philippines. In response to rising tensions over China's assertiveness in the South China Sea, Southeast Asian nations have reached a historic agreement to conduct their first ever joint military drills in the region. Indonesian officials have confirmed that these joint military exercises will take place in the North Natuna Sea. Indonesia Military Chief Yudo Margono made this announcement following a meeting of Southeast Asian defense chiefs in Bali earlier. The drills scheduled for September will involve all 10 members of the ASEAN bloc, as well as observer member Timor-Leste. These exercises will include Myanmar despite the ongoing political situation in the country. Myanmar has recently experienced a military coup leading to a crackdown on dissent and the imposition of sanctions by the U.S. and the EU. According to Margono, the primary focus of these drills will be on maritime security and rescue operations. It's important to emphasize that combat operations will not be a part of these exercises. Margono highlighted that the objective is to maintain ASEAN centrality, promoting unity and cooperation within the bloc. While individual ASEAN members have previously conducted naval drills with the U.S., this marks the first time they will come together as a unified bloc for military exercises. And this development underscores the growing concerns and the need for a collective response to the escalating tensions in the South China Sea. The announcement comes on the heels of the U.S. urging China to cease its provocative actions in the disputed waters. Recent incidents, including a near collision with a Philippine vessel and a dangerous maneuver by a Chinese fighter pilot near an American surveillance aircraft, have raised alarm bells internationally. China maintains its territorial claim over the majority of the South China Sea, despite conflicting claims from other Southeast Asian nations, including Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Malaysia. Indonesia President Joko Widodo has urged for stronger collaboration between Indonesia and Malaysia to safeguard their palm oil products in the face of what he called discriminatory trade measures imposed by the EU. President Widodo's statement comes in response to a new trade law adopted by the European Parliament in April. This legislation aims to combat deforestation by banning imports that contribute to it, aligning the EU's trade policies with the global fight against climate change. The proposed law, currently awaiting final approval from EU member countries, will impose restrictions on various imported goods, including coffee, cocoa, soy, timber, palm oil, cattle, printing paper, and rubber. Specifically, it will prohibit imports originating from deforested lands after December 31, 2020, targeting the massive EU market, which is the third largest market for both Indonesia and Malaysia. However, the production and trade of palm oil have long been controversial. Environmentalists have accused the industry of contributing to the destruction of rainforests in Indonesia and Malaysia, where 85% of global global palm oil output is produced. The rapid expansion of palm oil plantations has resulted in the loss of habitats for rare animals. Additionally, there have been allegations of mistreatment and abuse of foreign workers on some palm oil estates. President Widodo's call for closer collaboration with Malaysia aims to protect the palm oil industry from the potential adverse effects of the EU trade law. Both countries heavily rely on palm oil as a major export commodity, and they seek to address the concerns raised by environmentalists while safeguarding the livelihoods of those dependent on the palm oil sector. And news from the United Nations. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has sounded the alarm on dangers of misinformation and digital platforms, calling for an international code of conduct to address the grave harm already caused by these platforms. Guterres highlighted the need to address the negative impact of digital technology and proposed measures to tackle the proliferation of false information.
The proliferation of hate and lies in the digital space is causing grave global harm now. Digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate to billions of people.
In his address on Monday, Guterres emphasized that while advancements in artificial intelligence are a cause for concern due to their ability to spread falsehoods, it is important not to overlook the significant damage already inflicted by digital platforms. To address these issues, Guterres announced the development of a UN Code of Conduct for information integrity on digital platforms.
Our policy brief on information integrity on digital platforms puts forward a framework for a concerned international response. Its proposals are aimed at creating guardrails to help governments come together around guidelines that promote facts while exposing conspiracies and lies and safeguarding freedom of expression and information, and to help tech companies navigate difficult ethical and legal issues and build business models based on a healthy information ecosystem. New technology is moving at warp speed, and so are the threats that come with it. Alarm bells over the latest form of artificial intelligence, generative AI, are deafening, and they are loudest from the developers who designed it. The scientists and experts have called on the world to act, declaring AI an existential threat to humanity on a par with the risk of nuclear war. We must take those warnings seriously.
President Marcos Jr. has made a resolute commitment to lead the nation on a path of high growth, navigating through the challenges that arise as the country recovers from the far-reaching impact of the pandemic. The president spearheaded the nationwide celebration of the 125th anniversary of the proclamation of Philippine independence under the theme of Kalayaan, Kinabukasan, Kasaysayan, or Freedom, Future, History. The president emphasized the significance of this occasion as a constant reminder to all Filipinos that the hard-won freedom of their ancestors can only be safeguarded through unity and solidarity as a nation.
Truly, the Philippines has gone a long way as a sovereign state, as a member of the international community since its birth as the first republic of Asia in 1898. Today's celebration has taken a whole new different meaning as we mark this occasion with renewed hopes and spirited resolve to rise anew as a nation, not from political oppression this time, but from economic scarring engendered by the crippling and lingering effect of a pandemic. That is why, as a way to honor our forebears, it is my duty as president to keep this house in order and to steer the country to a high growth path whose effect will be felt by each and every ordinary Juan de la Cruz.
Looking ahead to a brighter future, the president urged his fellow countrymen to draw inspiration from history as they set the sights on the horizon.
It is our shared responsibility to foster a society that upholds democracy, social justice, inclusivity, so that every Filipino can flourish and contribute to our nation's growth. From where our country stands now, we recognize that challenges will continue to test our mettle as a nation, but with unity and solidarity of the Filipino people, we can endure even another 125 years with our heads held high.
The Philippine Embassy in Russia has commemorated the momentous occasion of the 125th proclamation of the Philippine independence. At the embassy, officials and diplomats gathered to pay tribute to the sacrifices made by their forefathers in the pursuit of independence. Through a series of ceremonies and events, the embassy aimed to honor the rich heritage and cultural legacy of the Philippines. Emmy Coloma reports from Moscow.
The Philippine Embassy in Russia hosted a grand diplomatic reception of the Radisson Collection Hotel in Moscow on June 6, 2023. In commemoration of the 125th anniversary of the proclamation of Philippine independence, this significant occasion brought together distinguished diplomats representing various countries across Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, as well as prominent businessmen, Filipino students, and leaders of the Filipino community, PhilCom, from Moscow and the Far East region of Russia. The esteemed guest speaker of the evening was none other than the Philippine ambassador to Russia, Igor Bailen. In his inaugural remarks, Ambassador Bailen emphasized the utmost importance of ensuring the well-being and welfare of the Filipino community residing in Russia.
Future history reflects our maturity and aspiration as one nation in partnership with the international community. The Philippines and Russia share almost 50 years of diplomatic relations.
This gesture not only highlights the diplomatic event's celebratory nature, but also underscores the deep-rooted commitment to the Filipino people living abroad. It is worth noting that diplomatic ties between the Philippines and Russia were officially established on June 2, 1976.
But our people-to-people relations go back over 200 years. Under Tsar Alexander I, the Irish-American businessman Peter Goebel opened the first Russian consular post in the Asia-Pacific region in Manila in 1817. Then, at the height of the Cold War, President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. traveled here to Moscow to open our diplomatic relations on June 2, 1976. The following year, we opened our embassy here in the most beautiful of the Seven Sisters, Hotel Ukraine.
We are celebrating the 125th anniversary of the proclamation of Philippine independence. So under President Bongbong Marcos, he wants to build bridges between nations, through peoples, through governments, and we pray for peace in this part of the world. And the message of Filipinos is magbatian po tayo, magmahalan po tayo, that life is short, but Filipinos are always for peace. God bless po sa lahat. Mabuhay. Happy Independence Day.
Narito kami ngayon sa Radisson Hotel dito sa Moscow bilang pagdiriwang sa 125th Philippine Independence Day. It's such an honor and privilege to be a part of this celebration. As we are grateful at dapat natin talagang pahalagaan at celebrate ang ating independence. Ito ay pinaglaban ng ating mga bayani, no? And every day, meron tayo mga bayani sa iba't ibang sektor ng ating society and all walks of life. Magandang gabi po mula sa Moscow sa ating lahat ng mga kababayan na mula sa iba't ibang bansa. Alam po na tayo ay sinusubaybayan. Hindi lang sa mga Pilipino dito sa Moscow, sa Russia, kundi sa buong daigdig. At kami po ay nag-aaral na makiisat para sa inyo yung digital technology para ipabot ang kasiyahan naming Filipino community dito sa Moscow para ipagdiwang ang ating pagka-Pilipino. Alam niyo po dito sa Russia, tuwa-tuwa po kami lang kahit gaano lang kahirap, alam niyo naman po, napapalitaan nyo, napapasa nyo, yung mga challenges sa Filipino community dito sa Russia at sa tulong po ng ating pamadaan, sa tulong ng ibatay sa daket. Maraming salamat po sa pag-aalala nyo at pagdasal ninyo sa Filipino community dito sa Russia at sana mapresenta nyo po kami dito. Maraming salamat po.
Una sa lahat, salamat sa pagkakataong binigay sa atin ng Lord para mapasama sa ganitong okasyon. Kami ay nagpapasalamat sa ating Philippine Embassy sa pamunuan ng ating nag-iisang ambasador, His Excellency Sir Attorney Igor Belen. Sir, thank you so much sa pagkakataong ibinigay mo sa amin. Isa pong malaking karangalan, Sir, ang mapasama ko sa ganitong okasyon.
Reporting from Moscow, Russia, this is M. Coloma. We live in extraordinary times.
The Filipino Association of Papua New Guinea is celebrating Independence Day with a remarkable display of patriotism, unity, and a mission to raise awareness among the Filipino youth born and raised in the country. Eko Ortelesa Quinola reports.
The Filipino Association of Papua New Guinea commemorates Independence Day with patriotism, unity, and creating awareness for the Filipino youth born and raised here.
It is a very successful event. This is a momentous event. Ito yung ating kasarinlan na talagang ito ay pinagbubuklod-buklod ang mga Pilipino dito sa Port Moresby. Bilang presidente, ang unang-una lang, sana manatili sila dito sa Port Moresby ng maayos, maganda ang trato ng mga employer, tahimik, ligtas, may magandang kalusugan, masaya.
The Araw ng Kalayaan program showcased not only colorful attires, but also talents and skills of Filipinos living here. The Minister and Consul General of the Philippine Embassy, Honorable Aris Severino Convelacer, joined the celebration with his countrymen. The 125th Independence Day program concluded with good food, a happy mood, and lots of photo opportunities.
I think right now we had over 600 attendees that came today to celebrate the Independence Day with us. To everyone who's celebrating the Independence Day all around the globe, maligayang araw ng kalayaan sa ating lahat. Ito pong selebrasyong ito ay hindi lang para sa ating mga mamamayan ngayon, kundi sa ating mga mamamayan kahapon at sa darating pambukas. So continue celebrating the Independence Day and continue to feel proud of our freedom.
Bilang isang Filipino, and especially when you're working also abroad, it's always very important that we remember kung saan tayo nanggaling. Meron akong anak, and he was born here. When we organize this kind of activities within the Filipino community, my son will be able to learn also na ay, ganun pala yung identity niya bilang isang Pinoy, and being able to participate, to witness. That's one way for us to be able to pass on to the younger generation yung ating kultura, yung ating mga values bilang Pilipino po. Para sa all Filipino compatriots, mga kababayan ko dito sa Papua New Guinea, maligayang araw ng kalayaan po sa inyong lahat.
Saan man pong sulok ng mundo, maligayang ika-125 kalayaan ng Pilipinas. Happy Independence Day po sa inyong lahat.
Eko Ortelesa Quinola, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
And the city of Carson, located in California, proudly joins cities around the world in commemorating the 125th Philippine Independence Day. Carson, known for its vibrant multicultural community, has come together to honor the spirit of freedom and resilience that the Philippine Independence Day represents. The city's residents, along with various organizations and community leaders, have organized a series of events to pay tribute to this important milestone. Alan and Eva Basalyahe reports.
The city of Carson in California is one among many around the world celebrating the 125th Philippine Independence Day. So if you're a Filipino
or know someone who is, then food, music, and entertainment at events like this are definitely part of the experience.
We always fund this event. It's co-produced by the Filipino Independence Day Foundation for years. This year it was supported by the Filipino American community. COVID shut us down for a while, so we did it virtually for 2 years. And to see them back at the park, socializing, enjoying the music and all-day festivity, it warms my heart and it warms their heart.
It's my first time here in Carson City. This is a very good experience because you can really see the Filipino community, the Filipino heart of caring and of course of sharing.
We want to teach young people about the history of the relationship of our countries and the history of what's happening today. Because young people in the Philippines and in America are going to be joining forces to protect freedom, independence, and liberty of the Philippines.
City of Carson, there's so many Filipinos in here. The vendors, there's a Jollibee, there's a, so name it. We do have everything here. Filipino are always people who smile. And every time they have it like this, they're all together and help out each other.
We are constantly celebrating together as a family. And that's what it looks like today, is all these people here. It's like a family. But not just for Filipinos. We want to show all the other ethnicities that you can be part of our family as well.
I truly believe I would not have been elected city councilman in the city of Gardena if it wasn't for the tremendous support that I received from the Filipino community. And I think that translated also to my time in the legislature and now in the Senate. So I'm thankful for them. They're engaged in the community, they're active, they're vocal, and that's what you need. And they participate politically, and that's a tremendous asset.
Every nation wants their sovereignty. They want to be recognized as a unique nation, a unique culture. And the Philippines is such a great nation. They have so diverse in skills and talents in the world stage. And I think they need to be promoted.
Anytime we can help elevate the work and the contribution of the Filipino Americans across this great country, we want to do that. And when you get a chance to set your vacation travels, come to California and come to the city of Carson. We will welcome you with open arms. Mabuhay.
Regardless of background, there is a commonality shared by those celebrating the hard-won achievements of Filipinos.
Which means to say that with independence comes unity for everyone. Eva Allen, Carson, California, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
And the vibrant city of Seoul has turned into a dazzling spectacle of purple lights as iconic landmarks illuminate the night sky to commemorate the momentous 10th anniversary of the globally acclaimed K-pop group BTS. For one mother and daughter, the occasion was so significant that they meticulously planned their 3-week holiday in South Korea, aligning it with the 10th anniversary celebrations. Take a look.
Well, it's really exciting. We were looking forward to this for quite some time, and it was just a special bonding time with me and my daughter that we got to experience this, and just to have that common, excitement and common love for the group. And
then my mom found that it was going to turn purple, and then she was kind of disappointed because we were going to leave, but then I got lost on the map, so we took longer to leave, and then we saw the purple, so I guess it's lucky that we're here.
They really saved my life. How? So back then in 2018, I was having a hard time because I couldn't get into any university back then. Like, I got rejected 15 times, and then in that time they launched an album called Love Myself, and then in the lyrics they say that it's okay to fail, I can try again, and then it's not the end of the day, and something like that. And yeah, that way they really saved my life.
These breathtaking sights have drawn in throngs of fans, both local and foreign, who have eagerly gathered to capture memorable photos and bask in the mesmerizing BTS-themed illumination. It all began on June 13, 2013, when a remarkable journey began for the group that would go on to rewrite the history of South Korean music. Dedicated fans from all corners of the globe have embarked on a trip to South Korea to join in the festivities and celebrate this occasion. As my usual habit, I'd like to end the day on a positive note. Let's encourage and build each other up so that no one is left behind. And that's it for tonight's broadcast. I'm Alma Angeles. Stay in the news because we live in extraordinary times. Good night.